Hello and welcome once again. As you can see, I've made a really cute hamster who's reading a book and sitting in his chair. And I'm going to show you how I made this. And I have made the glasses and the book, and the slippers and the hat, but I haven't made the chair. So I just bought this chair and thought I'll make something with it. So here is the chair I got from the range. And I bought it a few months back. I'm using a pipe cleaner and I'm measuring out how much of the pipe cleaner do I need because it's going to be a sitting figure, and so I have to see that it fits perfectly in the chair. And then I'm going to use another piece if I need to, but first I have to see how to go about it. So I've measured out how much is the length that I need of the figure sitting, and a bit is going to be the head. So it's around 8 centimeters. So I'm going to keep around 2 centimeters or so for the head. I'm not going to cut it, but I'm going to bend it over and twist it around the body part because that's going to make it a bit more stable and stronger. Just twisting it around. And you have to do it tightly and in one direction because it's just going to come off if you don't twist two ends together in the different directions. So I'm just going to do it in one direction, and this is where the neckline, you can say, the shoulders, and going to fold over the little arm. And just measuring out how much would I need a little hamster, and he's going to be holding a book, so how long of an arm do I need? You can always make it longer, adding more wool. So I've bent over one arm. I'm measuring it from the middle. So this is 3 centimeter. One arm is 3 centimeters, so I want the other arm to be 3 centimeters as well. So that is where I'm going to fold it over and then twist it. So this way we're not going to have any sharp ends sticking out because we have folded and then twisted it over. And when the pipe cleaner itself is a bit flimsy, but when you double it either with another pipe cleaner or just fold it over, it becomes a bit more stable. So these are the arms done, and the top end is going to be the head, and I fold it over the edge, the sharp edge, so that's going to be the nose. So I'm just measuring it out again on the chair and just going to see where the legs should be attached. That is going to be the hip area. So I've got half of another pipe cleaner. And hamsters are quite small and chubby, so you don't want a tall figure that's dangling its legs down the chair. I'm just going to make a little one sitting on the chair. So I'm just folding both ends right down the middle, and just seeing that they are equal. Then I'm going to fold over the main pipe cleaner over the legs, and it's all going to be covered in wool, so it's going to be nice and secure. It's not going to fall off or anything. So I'm just measuring out the legs that I've got them both of the same size. And this is going to be the little skeleton of the hamster. There are many ways of making the armature, and you can just try out. This is the little sketch I've made of the hamster that I'm going to do. Now I'm proceeding with adding wool around the armature, and I'm using the same corridor slivers I always do, and slivers are easier to go around the armature because it comes in strips, and you can just start off with a very thin strip and wrap it around. So I think best thing is to go around all the wire part and then start building on the fatty areas. And around the chest you have to go across, like making a cross around the shoulders and the chest. Wrapping the arms and the legs, and then just tapping it down. It doesn't need quite a lot of stabbing, just a bit to keep it in place. Now I'm adding more wool to the head, and it forms a kind of a cone at the top. So that end is going to be the nose. I'm adding more wool to the head first, then I'm going to move down and add more to the body. And as you can see, I've added more chunk and still need to be a bit more stout. I'm adding more wool to the tummy area, and now I'm shaping the eyes, and it's I wasn't happy with the shape. I've added more wool to the nose and the forehead just to give it more kind of a hamster look, shaping the nose with my needle. And so I've added wool with the armature a bit bent around the legs. You can see that it already seems like it's sitting. Using my owl tool, adding the eyes, and these are 3 mm glass eyes, and they were a bit transparent, so I've just painted them with an acrylic marker. Adding some color with the carded wool, and I love working with carded wool, it's so easy to felt. Just going around the eyes, and adding more. And for the mouth, I'm adding more wool to that part just below the nose because I feel like it doesn't have too much of a cone shape that the hamsters usually do. So it looked a bit more rounded. So I'm adding a bit more wool just to make it more prominent. This is a little pink nose. I'm using a merino top, baby pink, and little piece of dark brown just to give it shape right under the nose and the line below it. And you can add whatever color you want. I'm adding a little piece of dark brown, just giving it shades. And when you add shade, it has to be gradual, no sharp lines. I'm adding eggshell color to the tummy and just below the neck, and around the arms. It's the same color I used for the body. So you have to go around the arms very carefully because of course there's wire. I'm using a darker color for the feet. As you can see, I'm giving it more shape with wool. And now I think it looks more like a rodent face. It's adding some wool has made a lot of difference. 2 round pieces just below the nose. And I've got a mouth. Now I'm going to shape ears and just a dark brown color. And I've stabbed it into a circular shape and have to leave one end a bit fuzzy because that's going to attach to the head. And 2 semicircles, you can say, just really tiny so they fit on the head nicely. And I've used an old sock for the hat. I've tried different things, but they didn't work out so well. So I'm using a felt sheet and cut out a triangle. I'm going to stitch it on one end. Just fold it over a corner and cut a round edge. And seeing that it fits around the head, I'm going to stitch just this end of it and just fold it over the edge. I'm attaching ears now. Attaching the ears on top of the felt hat, and as it's felt, it's easy to attach. So you just have to get the placement right. And this is going to secure the hat on top of the head as well. And I've gone around with my needle around the hat. You can glue it on if you want, and just try and fold it over as it's a bit stiff. You have to keep it down somehow. I want to make little slippers, and I'm just measuring out the foot. Got a round shape. I'm going to cut it out. I've got the shape of the foot now. I'm going to attach wool and just felting down until piece. When I felt it down the piece, I'm attaching it to the felt part that I'd cut, and I'm attaching, just going around with my needle around the edges, not the whole thing, so I can put it on the foot. And there's a hole where the foot goes in, and folding over the edges on the back side is going to be the sole, using my awl tool so the hole remains and can go over the foot. Now I'm going to add more wool around it so it looks like a fluffy slipper, where it has got the hole where the foot is going to go in. So I've attached it right around the edges only, the piece that I felted initially. Just attached it around the edges of the felt part, the felt sheet, so you can see it goes over the foot nicely. I'm going to make another one. I'm using my awl tool just to get the hole there and make sure it's not felted down. Felting down a strip and going around it to give it a nice edge. I hope you have understood how I've made this slipper, because I made it for the first time, and it's just trying to get it to have that hole, and it looks neat as well. So I'm just going to get off the extra bit of wool, but I felted it down first and then attached it, so it looks more like a little slipper. When I put it on the foot, I'm just going to carefully stab it down. So I've made both the slippers, and now I'm going to make the book. So I've got some paper and just seeing how big I want the book to be, I'm just going to fold it over and make some pages of the book. And this is the first time making a mini book, so I've got some pieces and putting them together. They just have to be the right size, and the pages have to be equal. So I'm just measuring out how big I want it to be, around 2 centimeters. going to cut all of them of the same size and to make a cover. The cover is a bit bigger than the pages inside, and you can add as many features as you want. Just glued them together, folded over all the pages, and glued them right in the middle of the cover. The cover had some space, like I folded it over so it has a bit of space in the middle. And I'm going to cover the cover of the book with a black felt sheet and just stick it on. I've forgotten the hands, so I'm making little thumbs and hands. They look like boxing gloves, but it's okay because he's going to be holding the book. So I just want one thumb sticking out. So the hands are of the dark brown wool, and just attaching them to the arms right all around. And the slippers. Now he's going to be holding the book. Okay, now for the glasses. I've got this floristry wire. I'll just write down the gauge because I don't remember it right now. And I'm using a very thin paintbrush and wrapping the wool around it so it gives a round shape. Then a little gap, you can say, where it's going to settle on the nose, and then around another circle. And now this wire is really soft and you can just bend it really easily, so I'm just going weaving it around the round parts. And if you use a bit thicker wire, if you can handle it, or if you find using pliers easy, then you don't have to go around so many bends, and it can make a really nice and neat glasses. But it's kind of difficult for me, so I'm using a very thin wire, and I'm doing it again just to show you and trying to make a neater one. So I'm just weaving around, leaving a gap for the nose where it sits on the nose, and then another circle. You can use a pencil, a paintbrush, anything. If you want a bigger glasses, you can use a thicker pen. Just weaving it around. And I'm going to fold over the edges because it's a felted figure and I don't need the glasses to go around the head as it sits on our ears. I'm just going to make a little frame that sits on its nose. That's it. I'm going to paint it with acrylic colors and just making sure that it's the right size. I'm going to cut off the extra bit of the wire. I've gone off camera again. I'm sorry about that. I'm just twisting over the wire on the edges, and then you can use your pliers to just give it a nice squeeze. And there it's going to just sit there. I'm going to glue it on. So I've used silver acrylic on the glasses and white gel pen just to give the book a label. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching.